Dear learners, on behalf of Indira Gandhi National Open University, we welcome you for this video lecture session. Today's topic is multi-stage compression. This is the 31st module of the course Thermodynamics and its application. I am Subhashish Maji, professor in School of Engineering and Technology from Indira Gandhi National Open University. So today's topic is multi-stage compression. Dear learners, let us begin our discussion. After listening to this video lecture, you will be able to understand the concept of multi-stage compression. You will be able to know the ideal intermediate pressure, and you will also be able to solve the numerical related to multi-stage compression. Now let us begin our discussion on multi-stage compression. When compressing a gas or air to high pressure, it is advantageous to do it in stages. The condition for minimum work requires the compression to be isothermal, since the temperature after compression is given by T2 is equal to T1 multiplied by P2 by P1 whole to the power n-1 by n. The delivery temperature T2 increases with the pressure ratio. Also, the volumetric efficiency decreases as the pressure ratio increases, as mentioned earlier. The volumetric efficiency can be improved by carrying out the compression in two stages. After the first stage of compression, that is low pressure stage, from the state P1 T1 to the state Px Tx, the fluid is passed into a smaller cylinder, that is high pressure, in which the gas is compressed to the required final pressure P2 at final temperature T2. Now this is the diagram for showing intercooling between compressor stages. Now in the first stage of compression, this is the diagram you see on the left part of this diagram, where the initial state is P1 T1, and after compression in the first stage, the final pressure is Px and the temperature is Tx. Now it is passing through the intercooler. Intercooler is nothing but it is a heat exchanger where heat is being transferred from high temperature to the circulating cold water. Now after passing out from this intercooler, the pressure will be Px, but temperature will come down from Tx to T1. So at the entry of the second stage of the compression, the pressure of the air will be Px, but the temperature will be same as the initial state, that is T1. Now it will undergo in the second stage of compression, where the output will be P2 and T2. So the final pressure of the second stage of high pressure compression is P2 and temperature will be T2. This is the process of intercooling between compressor stages. Now we talk about the intercooling. The advantage of multi-stage compression in itself is primarily that of increased flow capacity or volumetric efficiency for a given pressure ratio. Multi-stage compression also enables appreciable shaving of work if cooling of the gas between stages is resorted to. The cooling is usually done by a water-cooled tubular heat exchanger, which also serves as a receiver between the stages. The work saved by intercooling in the idealized two-stage reciprocating compressor is illustrated on the indicator diagram of figure 3. Now, this is the process of multi-stage compression with intercooling. So you see that at the initial stage of air, before the first stage is at stage 1, where the temperature is T1 and the initial pressure is P1. At the end of the compression, the pressure is Px and temperature is also Tx. That is the final temperature at the end of first stage compression is Tx, which is greater than T1. Now it is passing through the heat exchanger and there is heat transfer between the hot air to the cooling water in the heat exchanger before entering into the second stage. Now, before entering into the second stage compression, its pressure will be Px, but temperature will be T1, that is same temperature as it was at the initial stage. Now, the compression will take place in the second stage. At the end of the second stage, the final pressure will be P2 and the final temperature will be T2. Cooling by cylinder water jackets is never very effective. The compression curve is always closer to adiabatic than to isothermal. Therefore, the gas discharged from the first stage at state X is at a higher temperature than the inlet temperature T1. If the gas is then cooled to state Y at temperature T1, the volume entering the second stage will be less than along a new polytropic curve at smaller volume. The cross-hatched area between the two polytropic curves in figure 3 represent the work saved by interstage cooling to the initial temperature. Actual cooling might be to some other temperature, but it is conventional to discuss cooling to T1. The shaving of work by the two-stage compression with intercooling will depend upon the interstage pressure Px chosen. Obviously, as Px approaches either P1 or P2, the process approaches single stage compression. Any saving of work must increase from 0 to a maximum and return to 0 as varies from P1 to P2. The figure shows the PV diagram for two stages compression. Complete or perfect intercooling from B to C means that the existing gas from the intercooler at temperature Tx is cooled completely to the original inlet temperature T1. Now, this is the PV diagram for the two-stage compression with perfect intercooling showing the work saved. Now, you see from state 1, that is point A to B, this is the compression process that is carried out through polytropic compression. So, at point B, its temperature will rise, pressure will rise, the intermediate pressure is Px, the intermediate temperature will be Tx, but at point B to C, it is passing through the intercooler. So, at point C, the temperature will be same as the initial temperature T1 and At point C, that is the second stage of compression from C to D, obeying the polytropic compression process, which is defined by PV to the power n is equal to constant. Now, the D is the exit point after the final compressions in the final stage, that is after the second stage of the compression. So this is the PV diagram for the two-stage compression with perfect intercooling showing the work saved. You see the hatched area in the PV diagram, which clearly depicts the saving in work. So this much work you can save if you proceed the compression process in two stages, stage 1 and stage 2 with intercooling. Then there is obviously the saving in work, which is indicated by the hatched area in the PV diagram. Now this is the TS diagram of two-stage compression with intercooling. This is the perfect intercooling. You see, from the point A to B, it is the compression in the first stage. At the end of the first stage compression, point B is the state of the compressed gas at the end of the first stage cooling. But at point B, the high pressure and high temperature air will pass through the heat exchanger and the temperature will be cooled down from Tx to T1. At point C, again it will proceed for the second stage compression that will follow the path CD, and this process is polytropic process, and D is the end point of the final stage of compression, whose temperature is T2 and pressure is P2. But again, there is after cooling for this process also, and after cooling will carried out from D to D dash, and the final temperature after cooling will be again at the initial temperature T1. So in this case, after the final stage of the compression, the final temperature after the after cooling will be same as the initial temperature, that is equal to T1. So in this case, A to B is the first stage compression following the polytropic compression process. Then B to C is the heat removal through the intercooler, thereby lowering down the temperature till T1. Again, C to D is the compression process in the second stage, and at the point D we will get the high pressure P2 for the air which is compressed into two-stage compression process, but at the point D its temperature will be T2, but again it is passing through the after cooling process, so that the final temperature will also be brought down to the initial temperature T1. So final temperature after cooling of the air will also be as the initial temperature. Similarly, perfect after cooling, that the process is defined as D to D dash, makes the gas leaving the high pressure compressor cooled also to the inlet temperature T1. At the end of second stage compression, again further cooling of the compressed gas is carried out in the after cooling process, which reduces the volume of the gas leaving, and thus the size of the receiver becomes smaller. The clearance volume for both the cylinders are assumed to be the same. The intermediate pressure Px, as shown in figure 4, has an optimum value for minimum work of compression. The total work per kg of gas is given by Wc is equal to n divided by n minus 1 or T1 whole multiplied by Px by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1 plus n divided by n minus 1 multiplied by RT1 whole multiplied by P2 by Px whole to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1. Now this expression you can write down as n divided by n minus 1 or T1 whole multiplied by Px by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n plus P2 by Px n minus 1 by n minus 2, because the after cooling temperature will be same as T1. Now in this case the work done will be minimum if you differentiate this expression for the work done with respect to Px, because the only variable for the expression for the work done is Px, because P1 pressure is constant, P2 final pressure is also constant, initial temperature is constant, n is constant, so only variable is Px. So if you want to find out for the minimum work done, you have to differentiate the expression for the work done with respect to Px. After calculating the expression for dWc by dPx and putting equal to 0 for the minimum work done condition, and after doing some algebra you will find the intermediate pressure Px for the minimum work done conditions is equal to under root of P1 multiplied by P2. Thus, for minimum work of compression, the intermediate pressure is the geometric mean of the suction and discharge pressure for a two-stage compression. So finally we will get Px by P1 is equal to P2 by Px is equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power n minus 1 by n. Therefore, Tx by T1 is equal to Px by P1 whole to the power n minus 1 by n, and T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by Px whole to the power n minus 1 by n. From figure 5, it is seen that the work required in LP compression is equal to the work required in HP compression. Dear students, please look at the diagram for effect of clearance volume on volumetric efficiency. So if you see that how volumetric efficiency is varying with the clearance CL, that is defined as the ratio of Vc by Vs, that is clearance volume, to the sweep volume. The pressure ratio P2 by P1 is always greater than unity, because after the compression the final pressure P2 will be obviously greater than P1, but for a given pressure ratio, if eta volume is equal to 0, then the maximum clearance will be equal to 1 divided by P2 by P1 to the power 1 by n minus 1. So this you can get from the expressions by putting eta volume is equal to 0. Thus the intermediate pressure that produces minimum work will also result in equal pressure ratio in the two stages of compression, equal discharge temperatures and equal work for the two stages. For two-stage compression, the minimum work using equation A becomes Wc is equal to 2nRT1 divided by n minus 1 multiplied by P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n minus 1. Here R is the gas constant, T1 is the initial temperature of the air before compression process, and P2 is the final pressure, P1 is the initial pressure. Where Px by P1 is the pressure ratio in each stage, in terms of overall pressure ratio, it becomes WC is equal to 2n or T1 whole divided by n minus 1 multiplied by P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by 2n minus 1. Now heat rejected in the intercooler, that is QBC, is equal to Cp multiplied by Tx minus T1, because the temperature difference will be Tx minus T1 for the heat transfer process in the heat exchanger, and Cp is the specific heat at constant pressure for the air. Now let us perform some numerical. Exercise 1, it says that a gas is to be compressed from 30 kilopascal to 500 kilopascal. It is known that cooling corresponding to a polytropic exponent of 1.25 is practical, and the clearance of the available compressor is 3%. Compare the volumetric efficiencies to be anticipated for single stage compression and the two-stage compression with equal pressure ratio in the stages. Now let us see how we can solve the problem. Dear learners, I already given you the instruction for doing any numerical on thermodynamics. First of all, you have to note down the data which is given for a particular problem. Now here P1 is given as 30 kilopascal, P2 is given as 500 kilopascal, the clearance Cl is given as 0.03 and the value of N is given as 1.25. So a reasonable comparison can be made here on the idealized basis, even though the actual volumetric efficiency may be lower than the ideal. For a single stage machine, we know very well that eta volume is equal to 1 minus Cl multiplied by P2 by P1 to the power 1 minus N minus 1. In this expression, P2 by P1, this ratio is known, Cl value is given, the value of N is also given. Just put the values in these expressions and calculate eta volume. So eta volume for this case you are getting as 0.745, that is 74.5%. For the two-stage machine, the pressure ratio in each is under root 500 by 30. So in this case you see that eta volume will be 1 minus 0.03 whole multiplied by 4.08 whole to the power 1 by 1.25 minus 1, that comes out to be 0.9375, that is 93.75%. Let us take another very interesting problem on two-stage compression process. A two-stage air compressor is to be designed to compress 6 meter cube per minute of free air at the ambient condition at 100 kilopascal and 27 degrees centigrade to 900 kilopascal. The cylinders of the compressors are to be water jacketed and an intercooler provides in between the two stages. The following data may be assumed. The index for compression N is given as 1.3. The volumetric efficiency of each cylinder is 80%. Temperature of air leaving the intercooler is equal to 27 degrees centigrade. Overall compression efficiency is equal to 85%. Determine the piston displacement volume for each of the compressor, and number 2 is required size of the electric motor to drive the compression. Now when you solve any problem, it is better if you draw the PV diagram. In this case also we have drawn the PV diagram for the two-stage process. So number 1 is the initial stage of the first stage compression process, and number 2 is the end state of the first stage compression process. Now 2 to 3 is the process for intercooling, and 3 is the initial state of the second stage compression process, and 4 is the final state of the second stage compression process. Now let us see how we can proceed for this problem. Now P1 is given as 100 kilopascal, that is 100 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per meter square. T1 is given as 300 Kelvin. P2 is given, that is the final pressure, but in this case the final pressure is taken as P4. So P4 is equal to 900 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per meter square. The value of N is given as 1.3. The volumetric efficiency, that eta volume, is equal to 80%, and T1 is given as 300 Kelvin. So T3 is equal to 310 Kelvin. Overall efficiency is 85%. Now how to find V1 minus V6 and V3 minus V5? That is our main intention for this problem. Now we know very well that P1, small v1 is equal to RT1. So from this case we can calculate small v1 because P1 is known, T1 is known, R is known. So for this case the V1 is equal to 287 into 300 divided by 10 to the power 5. Now V1 by V7 is given as 6 meter cube per minute. So eta volume, we know very well that the expression for the eta volume is equal to V1 minus V7 divided by V1 minus V6 is equal to mf small v1 divided by Pd at state 1. That is equal to 0.8, that is given. Now from this expression you can see that V1 minus V6 is equal to 6 divided by 0.8, that is equal to 7.5 meter cube per minute. That is equal to Pd. Now let us see how we can proceed for the next part of the numerical. Now we know very well that P3 V3 is equal to RT3. In this case T3 is given, P3 is given, R3 is also given. So there is no problem for calculating V3. V3 in this case we will get 0.2966 meter cube per kg. Now we know very well that mfv1 divided by Pd1, that is piston displacement at state 1, is equal to 0.8. Now next case is for finding out the mf. We know very well that mf by v1 divided by Pd at 1 is equal to 0.8. From this expressions V1 is known, Pd1 is known, so mf we can calculate, that is equal to 6.968 kg per minute. Now mf V3 divided by Pd2 is equal to 0.8, so piston displacement at 2 is equal to 6.968 multiplied by 2.966 divided by 0.8, that comes out to be 2.585 meter cube per minute. Now let us calculate the compression work. So W total is equal to the compression work for the first stage plus the compression work for the second stage. So W total is equal to N divided by N minus 1 P1 V1 whole multiplied by Px by P1, or in this case P2 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N minus 1 plus N divided by N minus 1 P4 V3 multiplied by P4 P3 to the power N minus 1 by N minus 1. So we know very well that P1 V1 is equal to RT1, and this is the ideal gas equation. So if you put the expressions for PV is equal to MRT, finally we will get the expressions for W total is equal to N divided by N minus 1 multiplied by P2 by P1 whole to the power N minus 1 by n minus 1 mfr multiplied by T1 plus T3. The right hand side expressions, all things are given, that we know the pressure ratio, we know the value of n, we know mf, we know r, we know T1 and T3. So if you put all these values, finally you will get the W total is equal to 1525 kilojoule per minute. Now the actual work is W total divided by overall efficiency. The overall efficiency you have got, that is already given for this problem, that is 85%, and W total you have already calculated. So actual work is equal to 1525.38 divided by 0.85, that comes out to be 1794.57 kilojoule per minute. If you want to convert in kilowatt, you have to divide by 60, and finally you will get the actual work is equal to 29.9 kilowatt. Therefore, a 30 kilowatt electric motor should be needed. So, dear learners, we have discussed in detail about the single stage compression process. We have also discussed about the intercooling. We have also discussed about multi-stage compression process. We have also discussed about the volumetric efficiency for a reciprocating compressor. Now let us very quickly summarize what we have discussed today. In today's discussion, we have discussed the concept of multi-stage compression. We have discussed the ideal intermediate pressure. We have also discussed some numerical related to multi-stage compression. Thank you very much.